When you're in a state of stress, your body is doing drip, drip, drip of cortisol. Cortisol is then stimulating adrenaline. If you're playing cricket, as the ball is actually flying through the air and you're thinking about the next over, you're not present. You have to be 100% present with what's happening right there in the moment. Simple answer to that is practice. Practice. Prophet Muhammad, he was a trader. That's the best that he did. And when the time came, he did the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and so on and so forth. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Elon Musk gets a lot more done in 24 hours than most of us do. You can maximize your productivity. You can maximize the intensity of your presence. Like, tiger is chasing us through a forest, climb up a tree, the adrenaline is good. Once we're up the tree, then we're like chill, relax, the adrenaline is gone.
And if I do the same thing with my workout, if I do the same thing with my work,
exactly.
If I do the same thing with my hobby, if I do the same thing with my relationships.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the second part of our two-part episode on living well and living the optimal life. We have Asad Rezzvi here today. In this episode, we're going to talk about the non-physical. We talked about exercise, we talked about recovery, we talked about nutrition. But in addition to that, there is a psychological component that is involved in keeping you at your optimum level. Hi, Asad.
How are you, man? Good to be here.
So, we just finished talking about the exercise, recovery, and nutrition side of things.
Right.
We spend a lot of time on nutrition because that's the fuel that drives our body. And if the right fuel is not in your system, you'll never get the best output, right?
Absolutely.
We touched on exercise. Your focus was mostly around heavy weights, strength conditioning, because it prolongs life, gives you muscle fiber, muscle density as you're wearing it out. And then you touched on recovery.
Yes.
Most people miss the recovery part.
Yes, absolutely.
And sleep is a big part of recovery.
Absolutely.
And that's a good segue into our psychological side of the discussion.
Yes.
And to me, I think of the psychological as four parts. The first to me is stress and the management of.
Yes.
Right? The second is the having this sense of purpose.
Yes.
The third is happiness.
Yeah.
And the fourth is, to me, it's the power of manifestation.
Okay.
Now let's see, do you agree with this? Let's start with that. Where should we start with on stress when it comes to recovery?
Look, I have a reference point for my own life. And I know from my experience that when I've had a mission or purpose in life, it doesn't matter what's going on. There's pressure, but there's not stress. When I don't have a purpose or a mission, then there's stress. Okay, and stress doesn't feel good because in the back of our mind, we're running a narrative that this is not good for me. I don't feel good. I don't want to do this. I wish this wasn't there, so on and so forth. Okay, so our body and our emotional state and therefore our endocrine system responds accordingly. Now, if you take the American Medical Association reference point, stress is probably the leading killer, meaning that is the biggest contributing factor to almost all major lifestyle diseases, which are the big diseases like cardiovascular disease, like cancers, etc., etc., etc.
They call them the four horsemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, in I think Peter Attia's book.
Yeah.
So I think it's cardiovascular,
it's
cancer, there's diabetes, and then there's Alzheimer's, Parkinson's.
Yes,
neurodegenerative diseases.
Yeah, so
and stress is linked directly to all four.
Absolutely, because stress creates chronic inflammation in your body, right? When you're in a state of stress, your body is doing drip, drip, drip of cortisol. Cortisol is then stimulating adrenaline. So adrenaline is something that was supposed to be there biologically. Like, tiger is chasing us through a forest, climb up a tree, the adrenaline is good. Once we're up the tree, then we're like chill, relax, the adrenaline is gone. But today, it's like, oh, I see a message on my phone. Now the stress is there because I'm running the loop in my mind. oh, how dare she say that? How dare he say that? Oh my God, I haven't got this done. I got to get that done. So on and so forth. We're running that. And it's running on a loop.
But pause, just on that.
Yeah.
How is that different from pressure? What
Okay.
you just said, oh, I need to get that done. Oh, they said that. Isn't that pressure? What is the difference between pressure and stress?
Okay. So for example,
Because pressure would then create the same adrenaline response in your body.
yes, but adrenaline is supposed to be a fight or flight. When it's done, it's like that at the end of a matchstick, that little bit of phosphorus. It's a spark that lights the fire. Then it's gone. Then you've got the slow burn. Okay. Imagine if the spark just stays there forever. That's going to destroy your body. And that's what that drip, drip, drip adrenaline and cortisol is doing. Okay? Because we're running that loop. Now, the thing is this. Let's talk about purpose a little bit. Let's talk about mission. Whether it's a small or big, it doesn't matter. Now, we have this misconception, and I'm sure people have their own ideas also out there. But slightly going into the spiritual aspect. What is your purpose in life? Okay, I look at it from a perspective, from a viewpoint. Like you've got two purposes in life. Number one purpose in life is to be in the present moment because this is where life is happening. Life didn't happen an hour ago. Life is not happening an hour from now. Okay, this here now is where life is actually happening. That's it. Life is one big present moment. So when you can physically, emotionally, spiritually be here 100%, you are the most powerful. Okay, that's just an objective reality. When your mind, body, and spirit is completely focused in the present moment. So for example, imagine if you're playing a sport. Okay, if you're playing cricket, as the ball is actually flying through the air, and you're thinking about the next over, you're not present. You're going to be bowled out or you're going to get injured or something's going to happen. You have to be 100% present with what's happening right there in the moment.
I want to tell you that feeling, that experience is
Yeah.
probably one of the greatest feelings you can ever experience because I remember I recognized when that was happening to me.
Yeah.
And I only recognized that in my late 30s. And I was racing in the
Yeah.
middle of the desert
Yeah.
in a Jeep. And I was exactly where I wanted to be, doing exactly what I wanted at that given time, racing in the desert in a Jeep. And it was almost like my body and my soul and the Jeep and the steering and the transmission were one.
Exactly.
And like, I can't explain it. Like, literally, it was like I was thinking I need to go left and I would go left. Like, it was literally everything was moving in one flow.
That's right.
And then I read later on that this is called like a flow state.
Exactly.
And it was after that feeling, I was like, can I recreate this in other areas of my life?
Yes, you can.
Morning runs, I have started getting that feeling. A bike ride, I've started getting that feeling. If I'm playing with my kids, I just want to disconnect and just play with them. But the challenge is, how do I get that feeling to last longer and longer? Typically, it maybe runs me 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes, and then it's gone.
Look, simple answer to that is practice. Practice. But here's the thing.
And that's purpose.
That is where purpose begins. When you can actually have more and more and more moments of being completely present. And the thing is this, you don't always have to be doing something, okay? You can literally sit in your chair and just decide, okay, I got to be present, mind, body, and spirit. Okay, you feel your body, you take a deep breath, you bring all your energy, your thoughts into this present moment. That's how simple it is. That's how simple it is, and that's how deceptive it is. But it feels great because we're biologically, spiritually, emotionally designed to live in the present moment. Now, I want to make sure that people understand and not misunderstand this thing. That doesn't mean that you don't have execution roadmaps of what you're going to do in the next one day or 1 week or 1 year or for a lifetime. Okay, that doesn't mean that you suddenly become devoid and you don't have a memory of the past. No, you do. But the thing is, all your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual energy is concentrated like a laser in the present moment where life is actually happening, so you have maximum power. Okay, so let's take something. Matlab, right now you related a very profound experience, right? You're in the Jeep, you're racing, all that. But let's just say if you're in the gym, let's say if you're lifting weights, you're going to have maximum productivity if you are 100% present with your mind, body, spirit, with your muscle connection as you're lifting that weight. Now, people who lift weights always say that you build better muscles, your body will look better, will respond better, your endocrine system will respond better when you're present. Okay? So that's number one thing, being present in your life. Number two thing is, whatever it is that you have to get done in your life, whether it's raising kids, whether it's doing your job, whether it's sweeping the streets, whether it's building buildings, running a business, whatever it is you're doing, you do the best that you possibly can. Stop thinking about, oh, this is unfair, that is unfair. Look, you're having this experience in your life because nature or God or whatever you believe in has deemed it necessary that this is exactly where you have to be, because this is where you are. Okay? You can't argue with that. Oh, I shouldn't be here. Oh, this is unfair. Oh, that is unfair. Maybe so. But drop it all and just be here 100% and get the best done.
But some people always have this narrative, I could do better, I'm not doing it good enough, maybe I'm not good enough. There's this lack of inner belief, right?
Yeah,
यार,
absolutely.
मैं मतलब कर भी सकता हूँ यार, या नहीं कर सकता.
Yeah.
मतलब I'm not good enough to do this. How do you break that narrative? Because, ठीक है, fine, I'm here, I'm doing this thing, I've accepted my fate and I'm here.
Yes.
That's part one.
Yeah.
Part two is, am I really doing the best job as a podcaster sitting you? Am I asking you the right questions? Am I doing this? Are these the best cameras? Like, what if I'm constantly second guessing myself?
Okay, so that means you're not present. You're in your head. Okay, so first thing is get present. Okay, the best that you're going to do is when you're absolutely present, when you're laser focused. Think about it. Imagine a laser, if the tiny rays of light are dissipating from that laser, it's not going to be so focused. It's not going to be so powerful. A laser can cut through metal, light. That's all it is. When it's concentrated, every iota of it is 1000% concentrated. It can cut through metal. Okay, it can bring down missiles. It can do incredible things. But if it starts to get dissipated, if the laser starts thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, then the laser is not going to be a laser any longer. Okay. Yeah, we've got all this narrative, and look, with all due respect to psychologists, and I got a psychology background from Berkeley, okay, so I can say this stuff. We've made a caricature out of this whole therapy business, okay. Part of it is valid, okay. There are people out there who do need therapy, but there's a lot of people who are just crying their way through life and thinking, poor me, life sucks, it should have been better for me, I didn't deserve this and I didn't deserve that. Get over it. Start doing what you're supposed to be doing. You need to go to the gym, get to the gym. If you need to work, get to work. Whatever it is that you need to do, just get it done to the best of your ability possible. Okay? Be 100% present. Get the knowledge, get the skills, do the best that you can. And then look at it. Take a step back in the evening or during the day, whenever, take a step back and say, what could I have done better? And then do it better the next day, and then better the next day. If all you do is improve 1% every single day, that's going to add up to become an exponential improvement by the end of the year. And by the end of the decade, your life is going to be
Looking
a dream.
different completely.
Okay. So the thing is this, what I want to emphasize is simple. Let's just keep it very simple. Let's not make it into a rocket science, mumbo jumbo, spiritual foo-foo thing. Okay, what is my purpose in life? Let me sit on a mountaintop and meditate until it comes to me, and then I'm going to go out there and conquer the world. Hey man, no one did it like that. Okay, whatever you believe in, Prophet Muhammad, he was a trader. Okay, that's the best that he did. And when the time came, he did the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and so on and so forth.
But he did go to a mountain for 40 days.
He did when it came to him that he needs to do it, but then he did that at 100%. He wasn't like, hey man, let me do the mountain from 3 to 8 p.m. And before and after, I'm going to do this. I'm going to catch up with this. I'm going to scroll a little bit. He didn't do that. He was like, I don't care food. I don't care water. I don't care anything. I don't care life or death. I'm going to do the mountain 100%.
No, but so look, I think there's one thing that I struggle with here, right? Like, so you've basically said that live in the moment.
Absolutely.
Live in the here and the now.
Because this is where life is happening.
Which is where this is happening
Objective
right now,
reality.
Right? So that's number one. So that's your flow state.
Yeah.
Right? And be in that
trigger to a flow state.
Trigger to a flow state, and be and try to understand how to get there, right? That's the first part. The second part, what you said, was basically you are intended to be here.
Exactly.
Right? You are not meant to be anywhere else but here.
Because this is where you're at.
But accept it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take those two.
Yeah.
To me, the difference between pressure and stress is stress happens when there is an expectation in the mind that there is a different place I should have been and I am not there now.
Fine.
Right? There's a different expectation
Fine.
that I should have been doing this by the time I was 40 or 30 or 20.
Absolutely.
And here I am doing this.
Yeah.
And then that gap, that differential is what creates stress.
Absolutely.
I should spend more time with the kids.
Absolutely.
I should eat more vegetables.
Yeah.
I should go and spend time. That to me creates a stress.
Okay.
Right?
Let's talk about that.
How do you change that alignment, the should, and that this is happening? And how do you make it more linear where like, okay, I need to spend more time with the kids. All right, I'm going to get up from here and go spend time with the kids.
Yeah.
Like I'll just take that decision and get it done. And then I'll come back to this thing. People have a problem switching.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They get stuck in the should, creates the stress.
Yeah.
The pressure, on the other hand, right, which is you said is different. How does that look different in that case, right? So let's say I give you a situation. Every working person thinks I should spend more time with my children.
Yeah.
It's everyone's thought, right?
Sure.
How can you change that to make it a living in the moment, change it from a stress to a pressure situation?
Okay. So this is going to be, I suppose, another different conversation, but okay. So everyone has 24 hours in a day. Okay. Elon Musk gets a lot more done in 24 hours than most of us do. Okay. But he's got still the same 24 hours. But here's the thing. The reason why I bring that up is because you can maximize your productivity. You can maximize the intensity of your presence. You can maximize the physical energy that you have. So for example, somebody whose energy level is very low, their mental energy is going to be low, their physical energy is going to be low, their spiritual energy is going to be low, their relationship energy is going to be low, everything is going to be, creative energy is going to be low, okay? If all you did was maximize your physical energy, the amount of energy that you have in your body by taking care of your health, anything that you do, you'll be doing it at a higher level. That means somebody with a lower level of energy, if they're spending the same time doing it, will get less done. If you maximize your health and your wellness and your vitality, you'll be getting a lot more done. Okay? Imagine you get a lot more done in less time. Now you've got time freed up. Okay? Now you decide, I want to spend time with my kids. Stop spending time with your kids. Think about what is the outcome that you want to achieve with your kids. Do you want to laugh with your kids? Do you want to do something creative with your kids? Do you want to play with your kids and be like a kid with them? Decide what the outcome is, okay? And then do that with 1,000% concentration, with 1,000% presence and total abandon, so that you feel rejuvenated and your kids are like, wow, I got the best dad in the galaxy, okay? They grow up with that experience. Now, imagine this. If you give that experience to your kids, maybe just once a week, it's going to fill them up spiritually and emotionally so much that even if you're not there 6 days a week, they'll be like, you know what? When my dad is here, we're like flying. We're doing this. We're doing that. They're going to cherish that. As opposed to your other dad who just comes home and he's like, oh, idhar aao, baitho, kya kar rahe ho? हाँ चलो कुछ गपशप करते हैं, चिप्स खाना है, चिप्स खा लेते हैं. They're like, yeah, dad, he's kind of boring and stuff, you know, he likes to eat chips and he likes to talk about our homework and stuff. Hey man, you know, we think kids are dumb, but they're not. They're way sharper than us. Remember when we were kids and we used to think that adults are dumb? Well, kids these days are thinking we're dumb. Because, you know why? One secret, they are 1,000% present in the moment. They have not yet learned to be dissipated. So when they see us a mile away, they can tell, oh, Abu is in a good mood, bad mood, bogus mood. He's going to bore us to death today again. Okay, you know what? Let's start making excuses. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up. But all I'm saying is this. Whatever you do it with 1,000% presence. If you're going to work with 1,000% presence. If you're going to play with your kids, do that. If you're going to get healthy, do that with 1,000. Anything you concentrate, you will start getting really good at. Your creative juices are going to start flowing. You will get the kind of output that 99% of other people don't. You remember what we talked about last time? Being a lone wolf, and I said, find your wolf pack. Well, when you find your wolf pack, this is what they do in the wolf pack. They're maximizing everything in their life, okay? Every relationship, any work, any creative. Even if alone time they're doing it, they're not just sitting and scrolling mindlessly. They're like, you know what? Let me just be alone, chill, take a deep breath, enjoy the breeze, enjoy the cool, whatever. But it's 1,000%. Life at 1,000% gets more done. You just get more output. So even if you have to build an empire, okay, if you are concentrated, 1,000% concentrated, you will get more done. Now the thing is this, life is not perfect. It never has been, never will be, for no one. Sacrifices have to be made. So at some point in time, Steve Jobs says this in his autobiography. He made a sacrifice. He sacrificed his family. He wishes he could have spent more time, but he said, you know what? This is what fulfilled me, building something great. So his legacy is that of Apple. It's not of his family. That's the sacrifice he made. And he was willing to make that sacrifice, okay? But he did it consciously. On his deathbed, he wasn't like, oh, I wish I had spent more time with my family. He was like, yeah, I made the sacrifice. It was a sacrifice that I thought it through. I felt it through. It was a conscious decision. Now, Steve Jobs was well known to get in a state of Zen. He had a room which was empty, no furniture, nothing. He would sit on the floor and get into a zone of total presence. That's where he would come up with his greatest ideas, greatest breakthroughs. He designed his life, he designed his company, he designed his products. He gave his gift, which was Apple. Okay, other people have done it in a different way. They have been artists, they have been musicians. But what I see most people doing is, I need to be a good dad, I need to be a good mom, I need to be a good person. Stop.
So it's outcomes driven. Basically what you're saying.
Stop being good. Stop being good.
Yeah, but I think what I liked in this is that it was an outcome-based approach.
Absolutely.
Right? So you basically focus on the outcome. For example, instead of saying I want to be a good dad, I want to teach my kid to ride a bike. I want to teach my kid to swim. I want to teach my kid to cook.
Sorry to interrupt you, but what I'm saying is, stop being good.
No, but when I'm doing these things, let's say I've created these outcomes. In those outcomes, if I come in with full energy and 100% concentration, not only am I giving them a life experience, but I'm also creating a positive outcome for them that they will cherish and treasure for the rest of their life. And if I only do this once a week.
Exactly.
Right? And if I do the same thing with my workout, if I do the same thing with my work.
Exactly.
If I do the same thing with my hobby, if I do the same thing with my relationships.
Exactly.
And if I just do it once a week, 100% with an outcome. So, hey, I'm not going to just go and have a coffee with a friend. Hey, I want to know what's happening in my friend's life up until this point.
Exactly.
So that's an outcome.
Exactly.
Between the last time and now.
And that's where you stop being good and start taking the journey to becoming outstanding.
So it's outcomes driven.
Yeah, it is outcomes driven. And I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you a little secret that may not be such a big secret, but if you're married, most women will say, you know what? You need to spend more time with me. And so most guys think, from 9 a.m. or from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., I'm going to sit with my wife and talk. And then she thinks, he's so boring. I'm not enjoying this. She doesn't want your time. She wants your presence. She wants your 100% presence. Now do this as an experiment. Next, before you meet your wife today.
Oh, okay? I've done that.
You have? Okay, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I've tested this out.
Yeah.
Phones away.
Exactly.
Simple thing. Phones away, no TV, and you've got, and it's concentration, because sometimes they go into discussions of very trivial things seemingly to you, exactly, but it's extremely important for them.
They're emoting.
They're emoted by it. They're sort of excited by it. They need to share that, and they need to get a reaction. Yeah. And you might think, holy crap, this is so trivial. But it's not trivial.
It's not trivial.
It's trivial for you. Yeah. But how you respond to that and how you give feedback to that is exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the thing is this. What we as men, what we don't understand is that women truly are different creatures. Okay, we're sort of going on a tangent over here, but this is important. Why? Because it really plays a key role in the quality of your life, okay, and your productivity also, if you're married. I'm not married, so I'm coming from a different place. But here's the thing. When you are 100% present with your woman, the quality of experience is completely different. She responds to you in a completely different manner, okay? Now, the thing is, a woman is a flow of energy. We are more, a closer, if I was to make like loose caricature type analogies, okay, we're sort of like a keyboard and a computer, okay, input and output, okay, results, what, why, how, who, where, when, okay. The female is like the ocean. It's going to flow. You know, you don't go to the ocean and be like, you just gave me a wave. Why are you giving me another wave?
Yeah.
The ocean is like, waves is what I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're big waves, sometimes they're small waves, sometimes there's no waves. I don't know, but it's waves and it never stops.
Yeah.
And that's what the female is, okay? But we get into our head and we start to analyze it and be like, let me fix the waves. So one wave is enough. I don't need another wave.
Actually, that's a very good point. We go in and try to fix things.
Yeah. And the thing is this, the ocean doesn't need fixing. The ocean needs to be surfed. The ocean needs to be enjoyed. The ocean needs to be loved. Okay?
Yeah.
A wise man once said, life and woman will never be understood by you.
Yeah.
Stop trying to understand them or fix them.
Yeah.
Okay? Learn to live, learn to love.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
If you do those two things, you will have a wonderful life. Of course, easier said than done.
Way easier. Way easier.
But the whole point is coming back to be 100% present with whatever it is that you're doing.
So what I find interesting, right? I find interesting that in most religions, including Islam, there's prayer.
Yeah.
And I think Islam has sort of created the perfect construct for that.
Yeah.
Where you start your day early morning with prayer.
Yes.
And the prayer is, if you really read it with intention and understand the translation, it's just submission to a higher energy and a higher power, which makes you realize that really nothing's in your control.
Absolutely.
That's basically
total acceptance.
Total acceptance that there's
surrender.
a greater energy and surrender. And the minute I surrender and I say there's nothing in my control, and I start my day with that, then I go through my day, and then in the middle of my day when I'm at peak stress, I take a break and I do the same thing.
Exactly.
Then when I finish my day and I'm on my way home from work, I do the same thing. Then I do it at sunset and right before I go to sleep.
That's right.
I'm surrendering 5 times a day to a higher being, a higher power. And when I surrender that way and I accept that nothing is in my control, I have no choice but to live in the present with my fullest.
Absolutely.
If that is the intention of the religion, then why isn't everyone here following it?
Okay.
Where has that gone wrong?
I think we've been brainwashed a lot by the Western narrative, which is like, hey man, go out there, grind.
But look at what it gets you. It buys you a Bugatti and a Lamborghini and a Miami penthouse and a New York, like whatever.
I'd love to
buys
have
you all
all
those
those
things, man.
I love
so if
that.
you grind hard, you get paid well.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's
You
delve
get
into
paid
that.
well, you can go and chill. You
Okay.
can go and chill, you'll be
Agreed.
at peace.
All right. So the thing is this: you grind hard, you work hard, you get all the stuff, but you talk to anyone
Who has stuff?
who has stuff. Okay. There's this guy, famous internet personality, Bilzerian.
Dan Bilzerian.
Dan Bilzerian. Okay. He's done all that to the nth degree, right? Cars, money, women, a hedonistic lifestyle, like over the top, guns, all of that. He's done what most boys are like, wow, I wish I could do even 1% of that, right? And so a lot of young men admire him. Now, in his own words, he's like, I'm so done with that. I'm so done with that. It was so empty. Now, yes, if you've never done that, you're going to think to yourself, yeah, but. But the fact is, since the beginning of time till today, all the prophets, all the sages, all the enlightened people have said exactly what this internet dude is saying, okay? It's not over there, okay? It's where what you said was, when you're in that Jeep, racing in the desert, being one with the element, one with the Jeep, one with the moment, that is enlightenment. That is nirvana. If you can have moments of that in your life,
Every day.
it doesn't matter what you have or what you don't have. Because think about this. When we look back on our life, some of the best moments were some of the toughest moments in our life.
Yeah.
We laugh about them. We're like, man, that was a tough time.
And it doesn't cost money.
Exactly. It doesn't cost money. So what life comes down to is always putting yourself in the way of a challenge. Always making your mind, your body, your spirit grow. Not hooked, not attached to the outcome, that if I don't get this outcome, I fail. And this is where I would take a big knock at the school system, because they teach you, they condition you, they brainwash you into believing that the marks that you get is who you are as an identity. So if you fail, you are a failure as a human being, which is probably the single most destructive thing that we can learn growing up in our most formative years. Because that's what then conditions us to believe that in our life, if we don't make $1 million, we're a failure. If we don't have this, we're a failure. Stop. Okay. What you got to do is design your life. You really have to stop and design your life. You got to figure out, what kind of energy do I want? And so what do I have to do with my body? What kind of a gift do I want to give to the world? Okay, do I want to play music? Do I want to be an artist? Do I want to be an athlete? Do I want to be a banker? Do I want to be a 9-to-5er? I don't know what I want to do. Let me just start doing something. But do it to a level where you are giving your gift spiritually. So let's say you're working as a mid-management nobody in a bank. Yes, you're a nobody right now. But give your gift. Be totally present when you go there. Go there with 100% physical energy. Take care of your body that way. Okay? So people around you are going to start noticing, and they're going to be like, Yaar, Faizan, what are you doing, man? You've got so much energy. You're always smiling. Their lives will be touched by it. Sooner or later, it's going to start paying dividends. Your life is going to start moving forward. That's how you give your gift. That's how you're on a mission. That's how you're on a purpose. And that's when you get stress, like you get workload, you come with the same mindset. I'm going to do the best. So you bring the best of your energy, you bring the best of your focus, you bring the best of your work, you do the best, and then a little bit more. You keep getting better every day, every single day. You don't let up, because that is what life is. Life is a series of challenges. It's never going to get easy. Stop looking for easy.
So okay. I find this is a good analogy in this financial concept of compounding, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like we don't do a good job teaching that. It's very simple. It's basically saying that, if you save $100 a month, you save, let's say, $1,000 a year, right? Yeah. Whatever the money you can save.
Exactly.
You put that into a standard yielding fund, whether it's the stock exchange, whether it's interest-bearing account, and if you put in a 10% return over 30 years and just leave it.
Yeah.
Just that $1,000 once. You leave it. that $1,000 over 30 years becomes some exponential number like
Exactly.
$20,000 or $30,000.
Probably a lot more.
Probably a lot more, right? Imagine if every year you kept adding another 1,000 to it. You're
Exactly.
sitting on over $100,000 by the end of 30 years, which is retirement.
Yeah,
Now imagine if you took that same concept to your workout.
absolutely.
Just every year a little bit more, a little
That's
bit
right.
more. You took the same concept to your relationships. You took the same concept to your nutrition. And you took the same concept to your emotional and spiritual well-being.
Absolutely.
You are now living a life like I tell people, you know, there's this concept of, I think retirement is a flawed concept.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because the minute you say कि यार आप retire कर जाएंगे at 60, 65, you've just created a life curve that's now going to start declining,
That's right.
right after that date. But imagine if you started compounding starting today, the best day of your life, if you do it right, should be your last day. Because you are at your peak.
That's right.
Right? Because your life is not in your control. Something could
Exactly.
happen, whatever.
Yeah.
But if your life curve looks like this, obviously there's certain things, our genes that maybe are out of our control, but even there's studies now showing that you can create modification
Absolutely.
to your genome strain.
That's right.
By inducing growth hormone-based
Exactly.
activity.
100%.
Right? Creating
That's a fact.
stressors in your life, doing cold plunges, doing sprints like you and I
Exactly.
were earlier talking about. So the notion is that you should be at the best version of yourself the last day you are alive.
Absolutely.
And if you, no one tells us to live that way.
Exactly.
They say, bhai, aap retirement ke baad बैठ के chill life enjoy करें. What the hell does that even mean, life
Exactly.
enjoy करें? I'm enjoying my life with stress. Not stress, with pressure.
That's right.
I'm enjoying my life with challenges.
That's right.
And so to manifest that, I feel like there's one component in this that we haven't touched on, is you have to manifest this.
Yeah.
Right? There's this whole concept around manifestation,
Yeah.
which basically says, ki visualize it, right? There's this story of Helen Hadsell, if I'm saying it right. This
Yeah.
This
Okay.
woman won over 1,000. She won almost every contest that she ever
Agreed.
entered.
Yes.
She won a
I have
car, a
heard that.
fridge, a house, multiple holidays, and she's
You
been
know,
written about.
boats and stuff.
But she's won boats. She's got this. She had a process to it. Spec. Select it, project it, expect it, collect it. Right? So her thing was select what it is that you want. Right? So she would enter a contest saying, I want to win this boat. Now she would sit and visualize it. She would feel like I'm a boat owner. What would it feel like taking this boat out into the ocean and really sailing this boat? And now you've got that feeling and that sensation inside, the expectation. Then you project it, right? You project that feeling, that expectation out into the world that this is mine and I've gotten it. And by the end of it, you just go and collect it. It'll happen. This concept of manifestation, where does it play a role in this whole thing, in your thought process? Like, can I manifest that life that you just talked about, that is full of that upward trajectory till your last day?
Absolutely. But let's make it real so that it's not some foo-foo thing. Okay?
Yeah, because manifestation goes into this like foo-foo.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. Last couple of days, 3 days ago, I noticed that Hiluxes came in a burgundy red color. And I noticed this for the first time. I was like, really? Did they came on burgundy red? I thought they were all whites and blacks and grays.
Yeah.
Suddenly, over 3 days, I've only been seeing burgundy red Hiluxes. And I was like, did they just make them all of a sudden? Or because my mind was tuned
That's right.
towards seeing a burgundy red, created a question in my mind. Now, at the back of my mind, every time I see a burgundy red Hilux, oh, there's another one, there's another one. How many burgundy red Hiluxes are there that have been produced? I didn't even know they existed.
So there's a part of your brain which is called the RAS, Reticular Activating System. Okay? And the way it works is that when you create a goal or when you create a target or when you are focused on something. So for example, let's take something very common. A lot of women have this belief, men are pigs, men are XYZ. It's usually negative, right? So what they're telling the RAS is anytime you see a behavior in a man which you judge to be not good, you label it with that. So suddenly your RAS, your brain actually is focused. The crosshairs are now looking for that behavior. So even if you see 1,000 men doing amazing things, you ignore all of that.
You look for that.
You look for that.
And
So
that
it
is, I think
confirms it.
I think it ties into the evolutionary part of our life.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
what it's doing is it's protecting you.
Yeah.
Right? If you suddenly saw this weird shape, and the last time you saw that weird shape, some random, human got attacked by it and the whole family got killed, you're like, all right, that weird shape, I need to watch out for.
Absolutely.
It might be a reptile or a mammal or an animal that might come attack me.
Okay.
I think that's sort of where the wiring comes from.
Absolutely, it does. So let's talk about manifestation and actually creating an extraordinary life.
Do you believe in manifestation?
Absolutely. Is
it true?
It's real. Matlab, why else would we, matlab, har namaz ke baad, we pick up our hands and we're like, we pray to God, right?
So that's dua is manifestation. It's
part of it. It's part of it. But you cannot just be like, Alamiya, listen, give me $1 million and stuff. Can you hold on? Let me just scroll for like the next 300 hours. Oh, yeah. By the way, give me that $1 million. I'm still waiting for that. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay? Alamiya works with and through you. Life. He's given you the most precious thing that he has, which is life. That is by far, the most valuable asset commodity that you and I and everyone has, which is called life. We're alive, okay? But the thing is this, if you tell a fish, like, you're so blessed, you're in water, the fish is going to be like, what? What are you talking about, right? Because the fish was born in water, has got water all around, is going to die in the water, has zero appreciation for it. But all it takes, literally, is a trip to Jinnah Hospital or to Civil Hospital. Spend half an hour, not even half a day or a day, and you will come back out, literally fall to your knees and say, thank you, Lord, for giving me life and health. Okay, so now let's start with simple things. Let's say if you lift weights and you're like, okay, I want to get ripped, I want to do this, I want to manifest it. Yes, you got to have a clear vision of that. So just like you were talking about Helen Hadsel, okay, so you got to be able to visualize what is it that the target that you want exactly, specifically. Do you want to have 10% body fat? What does 10% body fat look like? That means your lower ab veins are visible, okay? All right, so let's start with that. That means you got to stimulate your muscles to grow. So that doesn't mean you put a whole bunch of plates on your first day. You're like, oh my God, no. You put the maximum that you can handle at that point in time, which is a challenge for you. The next time you come in, you micro-load it. That means maybe you put a couple of clips on the ends, which are maybe 30 grams each. So you've just added 60 grams, okay? That's it. And then you micro-load it more.
What?
Yes, you literally do that.
You're joking.
Yeah. And then you add maybe 1 pound here and 1 pound there.
Unless I add another 5 or 10 kg plate, I'm like, dude, that didn't even count.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. We're looking for big wins every time. And what I'm saying is,
it doesn't count.
Go into a Zen and add little bits. So small that your body is like, oh, this was almost nothing. Almost nothing. It was something. I felt a little bit. But you're not going to be like the way they show in those movies, like, oh my God, I'm grinding.
Why is that?
Sweat and blood and everything. No, what we're trying to do is become a millionaire overnight in the gym. Okay,
so you're
with our
telling me
muscles.
by doing this micro-loading, I mean, it's going to take me years to get to my max.
Believe it or not, it works in the same way the compounding does. After a month, you will have increased the weight that you are doing by maybe a couple of kgs. After 6 months, you will have increased it by 10 or 20 kgs, and your muscles will respond in the same way. But the thing is this, by micro-loading, your body recovers rapidly.
Because it's not a bigger stress on the system than it needs to be.
Yeah, so you recover really rapidly. Your hunger doesn't spike like crazy, so you can control your hunger, so you can manage how much you're putting into your body. So when you go home, you're like, okay, this is what I need to eat. This is the amount of protein, carbs, and fats I need to eat.
Interesting.
This is the amount of nutrition I need.
No trainer trains you like this.
Exactly.
I've been lifting for a long time, and I'll tell you, unless like you add, like I'll tell you, I have a simple like formula now to keep it very easy. I think we talked about it. 2 times your body weight on 3 major compound exercises: chest, squats, deadlifts.
That's right.
And to add, I mean, unless I'm adding 5 kg plates each time on each, it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But then the problem happens is the minute the workout is over, I am like starving.
Yeah.
And unless I have a pre-prepared meal where there's discipline in place, like a shake or like some protein-based thing, I will hunt and I will eat whatever I see.
Exactly.
And suddenly I've killed my workout.
That's right. That's right. And that's why what you want to do is stick with the compounding. Make that a principle in your life, in everything that you do. Compound it tiny bits. Because you know what happens? Your ego takes a hit. You realize
I'm
so
feeding my
small.
ego. 100%. It is feeding my ego.
Yeah.
And it's, initially I thought that it's feeding your ego when you're in the gym. I started working out alone in my house.
Yeah.
And it was my ego for myself.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but wait, I did like this much last time. I should at least be able to add another 10 kg this week because it's been a week.
Yeah.
And then when, let's say I am able to, I'm like, yeah. And if I'm not able to, I'm like, man, I suck.
Yeah.
Like rather than being like, okay, today I made progress. I only did 1 kg more.
That's
Great.
right.
Next
That's
week
right.
I'll do another kg. Like, but
That's
the mind
right.
doesn't work. I don't know if the mind works that way. We're not tuned that way. I don't know what it is.
So the thing is this, people who master something, they focused on micro-loading in their art, okay? Anything anyone has ever done, no one became a success overnight. I think it was who was it? Was it Djokovic or Nadal? One of these
It was
masterful...
Federer. I think it was a recent quote after he they basically said that the probability of him winning is maybe just a fraction more than just a 50-50 win thing. And it only happens because of the continuous play and the time that's been put in or something like that.
That's right. And I think it was Nadal who said, I became an overnight success after 18 years of dedication.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So the thing is
Because I think what happens is that everyone only notices when you've hit the peak.
Exactly.
Right? And
Exactly.
then
No one sees the journey.
And during the peak is when you get the most attention.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's media attention or your friends' attention, all of your success suddenly is recognized there.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're sitting up here, but no, people forget what you were like down
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
And no one wants to talk about this.
Exactly.
In fact, even the person who's successful doesn't want to talk about this part of it.
That's right.
I don't know why.
That's right. Because, well, the thing is, we live in a media economy. We live in an attention economy. Okay, so it's way more glorious to talk about, oh, I climbed Mount Everest and then I got airborne from there and I touched the moon and the stars. Okay, it's so much more sexy to talk about that than to say that, you know what, I just put one foot in front of the other. And then what did you do next? Then I put the other foot in front of the other. And then what did you do next?
And I did this longer than everyone else.
Exactly.
That
is just so unsexy. Like, yeah, that's boring. Let's talk about when the tiger attacked you.
But then if I tie it back to manifestation, then what am I really manifesting, right? Like if it's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other and compounding it over time.
Let's get into that.
Why do I need manifestation?
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the sexy bit, okay? Let's say you wake up one morning and, okay, so we've talked about the gym, the micro-loading. Let's talk about micro-loading it in your, let's say you started a new business, okay? In the beginning, a new business is like raising
a child. A business is like a child.
Literally.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
I have learned one thing.
Yeah.
The age of your business is literally like the age of your child.
Absolutely it is.
It is like, I thought that in 3 years you could be $1 billion business. You could possibly be, and you'll get lucky and IPO, right markets, right business, right time, but it's still a 3-year-old child.
Yeah.
And that business may IPO really well, but who knows what it looks like 5 years down the road.
Oh, we've seen that happen many times. Businesses become $1 billion and go to zero.
We work.
Yeah, exactly. A ton of companies.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is this, let's say you started a new business. In the beginning, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh man, I got to do the same thing again today. I got to deal with those people and everything. That's it. All you do is put one foot in front of the other. You become 100% present and you're like, I'm going to do this the best that I can. It's just so unsexy. It's like changing diapers. It's like when your baby is like pooping and stuff all over the place, okay? Yeah, you got to stay up nights, you got to do all of that. It's very unsexy. But you do it. You You just put one foot in front of the other.
But that doesn't work in the creator economy, in the digital economy, where you can win fans overnight and become an Insta celebrity and like have.
But those
go
people
viral.
also took, they did the work. They made the content. They put the. Let's talk about Mr. Beast. He talks about his journey.
Yeah.
He studied what, like, I don't know, 1,000.
Yeah, he did.
Like some insane number. And not just him. He had a group of friends that, who together for I don't know how many years.
We're just creating content.
You're just creating content, not making any money. Right?
Even for local example, Junaid Akram, I had him on the podcast, started in 08, 09.
Yeah.
Just creating content first 4-5 years, no one noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
And suddenly he's this big hit sensation today.
So that's it. You just put one foot in front of the other, but you do it totally being 100% present in the best emotional state. So you put yourself, you decide, I'm going to be happy. Why? Because I decide to be happy. I'm going to be joyous. Why? Because I decide to be joyous. You decide how you're going to feel. You decide how much concentration you're going to bring. You don't wait for the world to give you some reason to do that. Mastery is about you taking the first step, you going first, you doing it first. Not waiting, well, I don't have a reason to be happy. Slap yourself silly and get out of it. Okay?
But then how does this link, like what am I manifesting then? So for example, if let's say the outcome of the manifestation is the one step forward, one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
What am I manifesting? Am I manifesting, let's say it's the business example. Am I manifesting, I want to feel like I have built a marketing and technology business that does X, Y, Z? Like, is that what I'm really sort of visualizing before I start my day, and then I just go and do that one step at a time? I mean, is the manifestation taking place on a day-to-day basis before I start my one step?
I'm assuming you've put together a roadmap, an execution roadmap. You've got targets, goals, timelines.
Right.
Okay. I'm assuming everyone has done that. Okay?
So that's step
basic.
one.
Yes, that's step one. You put the plan together. But most people are pretty good at putting a plan together, whether it's a good plan or a bad plan.
But they stop taking the steps.
Yeah, they stop taking the steps. Then they're like, please, can you make it happen?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it doesn't happen.
So the plan is the first part. Then you got to visualize that plan. Then you got to visualize what success feels like.
And then you put yourself in the state of having achieved the target. You've achieved your 100,000 followers. You've achieved that you've had so much impact on humanity. You've achieved whatever targets you had. Imagine how it's going to feel when you achieve that. And you make that feeling a part of your neurology, your nervous system, your mind, body, and spirit today. So if you want that 550 Maranello, sit in that 550 Maranello, having achieved all the targets that you have, having had that financial success, and you're like, yeah, this feels so good. And you come with that joy, with that passion, with that focus, with that dedication, with that creativity. So that then you're going to touch everyone's life around you. And that is going to fuel the downs so that you come back up quickly. That is going to be your mission in life. That is going to be your purpose in life.
So the manifestation, okay, so if I'm placing it in sequence, right? The manifestation should take place before, where you truly visualize and actually, like if I use the Helen Handel model, like select, project, expect, right? That part.
Yeah.
Like I choose what it is that I want to do.
Yeah.
I've already made the plan and everything. I expect it. I feel it inside. I project. I carry that with me, that projection with me, that I have achieved this.
Yes.
I have reached the end.
Absolutely.
I am 10% body fat, or I am the greatest father ever, or I am, I'm greatest business, and I'm feeling it and I'm owning it.
That's right.
And then I go into my day.
That's right.
And all I do today is that microloading.
That's right.
I will just take one step.
That's right.
Forget any big decision. Today, we will just conduct this meeting and walk away with an outcome.
Exactly.
And stick to what we planned.
Absolutely.
Do it every single day. And then what happens is...
And improve it 1% every day.
And improve it 1% every day. Now, if I'm doing this, and I've accepted that this is all that needs to be done, technically I shouldn't have stress. I shouldn't, because I have accepted that this is all that needs to be done.
That's right.
I am doing the thing that needs to be done. I'm nowhere else. I'm present in that moment.
That's right.
And the outcome of all of this on a day-to-day basis, would the outcome be happiness?
Okay, so I don't believe in chasing happiness. I believe in deciding to be happy.
So is doing this on a day-to-day basis going to yield, or is it going to be...
It's going to be fulfilling.
Okay, so what's the difference?
It's like this. You have something delicious, you feel good. So the feeling good came after eating something delicious. What if you went in, the dish was looking great, you ate it, it was horrible. What if you decided just to be happy? You decided, I don't care. I'm not going to let the dish become the architect of my emotional state.
So happiness is an emotional state. It is not the outcome of...
For most people, it's the outcome. And that's why they're doing it upside down. They're like, I'm so unhappy with my life. Look, again, the thing is this, I don't want to encroach in a lot of different spaces, but I find a lot of people these days complaining about anxiety and depression. And then I ask them, why are you anxious? Why are you depressed? Well, they've got a whole list. Literally, it comes out in half a second. Like they've got it memorized. This is not working in my life. This is not good. That's not good. My parents did this, everything. Like, dude, I've gone through a lot more than you have. Okay? But I just didn't know it was bad. It was bad. I felt bad. But I always had this thing that, you know what? I got to get a lot done. So I didn't dwell on it. I didn't get stuck in it. Now, the thing is, what I'm saying is, which one is going to come first, the chicken or the egg? I decided I'm going to be the architect of my life. I'm going to be the architect of my emotional state. I'm going to be the architect of my psychology, my spirituality, and everything. I don't care if something happens that's good or something that's bad. And think about this. Every great human being that we admire, we look at them and we say, so much happened to them and they were still so amazing. They decide who they're going to be regardless of what happens. The rest of humanity does it the other way around.
So you're saying happiness...
so much bad stuff happened to me and that's why I'm such a loser. That's what most people do.
So happiness is a state of mind. It's
a decision.
Outcome. It's not an outcome.
It's up to you, matlab, it's a decision.
So you're saying, what you're saying is that I can choose to be happy at any given point in time. It is a choice I make.
Absolutely.
Not because it is a feeling.
Yeah.
And if it's a feeling, I can create the feeling because I should be in control of my own feelings.
Exactly.
So then, for example, if I want to be this 10% body fat, great father, great husband who's spending time listening to his wife, running a great successful business, all the greats.
Yeah.
I can be happy even before I have achieved the level of greatness I have said I want to achieve.
I have a belief that if you are not living your life in a state of joy and happiness, you're not working hard enough.
You're not working hard enough.
That's right. Because it is only in a state of joy, passion, happiness that you will have the maximum resources, mind, body, and spirit to contribute to life.
Meaning, you only
Think about this.
You will see the opportunities only when you're in the state of happiness.
Think about this. When does your neurology light up the most? When you're depressed?
Happy.
Exactly. So that's when you have the greatest resources. It's just simple.
So you choose to be happy. So happiness is not an outcome.
Absolutely.
So every day I wake up, I should say, I am happy.
Yeah.
I want to be happy. I am happy.
हम लोगों के religion में there is Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. People in Gaza are saying that every single day. Like, Alamia, whatever you wish for me is the best. Imagine Gaza. If they can decide to put a smile on their face in Gaza, man, we're living literally in heaven. Yeah. They would give anything to be here.
Places, yeah?
And I'm just making this contrast. Why? Because most people's lives, even when it's really bad, it's not that bad. And so even in Gaza, if you're the one person who's alive, you're the chosen one. You're lucky if you have got life in you and you're breathing, and you can literally actually choose to smile, even if it is just for just 1 second. You're blessed. Why? Because that's where you are. That's where the good Lord has chosen for you to be. Okay? So all I'm saying is, without getting too philosophical, look, if your life sucks, hey, okay, it sucks, but that's where you are. The good Lord has chosen for it to be like that. And I'm almost 99% sure you also made the choices, either consciously or unconsciously, for your life to be at that place exactly where you are. But the next moment can be different.
Because that's a choice between now and then.
Yeah, you make the decision. I'm going to be happy no matter what. I'm going to be joyous no matter what. I'm going to have passion in my life. I'm going to have energy in my life. And then you embark on the journey. You put a plan together and you start taking action, and you take massive action. And you keep improving that plan. You keep improving your actions. You keep improving your skill. You keep improving your mindset. Every morning you wake up and you're like, I'm on a mission. Today is going to be the best day of my life. I'm not talking about positive thinking, because seriously, I believe positive thinking is absolute rot. It's absolute nonsense, okay? I believe in having the maximum resources, mind, body, and spirit. Put yourself in that state, okay? Just wake up and be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be crazy happy today. Why? Why? Your mom, dad, your sister, your brother, your wife, your kids are going to be like, okay, he's gone nuts. Great. Sooner or later, they're going to join in. Why? Because they're going to be like, it just feels so much better to be nuts and be happy than to be unhappy and to be not, to be sane.
So happiness is a choice, not an outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think most people will disagree with that. I mean, I agree with it. I get it. I get it. It's a choice.
But look at the numbers, man. Most people are unhappy.
That's true. I mean, the least I say this to people. I say, you know what? The simplest thing you can do is just smile.
Yeah.
Because the minute you smile, you de-stress.
Absolutely.
And guess what? It's contagious. The minute you smile, the other person smiles too.
Exactly.
That creates a situation where everything has just gone down a notch.
That's right.
You know, and imagine when things go down a notch, you're in a better space, you're in a more comfortable space.
Exactly.
So if you greet, I mean, this is my advice on this. Whenever you greet people, just greet them with the biggest smile ever.
Yeah.
That you're really happy to see them.
It's your contribution.
And you know what? They will respond in kind.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way.
Absolutely.
And they will also, and then in that moment, that is the most important moment of that moment.
Exactly.
That I just met you, so nice to meet you, tell me what's up.
Exactly.
And that they will carry forward to the next person.
Exactly.
Who will carry it to the next person.
Exactly.
And you've just started a domino effect.
Exactly. Absolutely.
If it was that simple, why isn't everyone doing it?
Because it's that simple. Because it's so deceptive.
Because
the thing is this, you know what? Everyone's looking for a Mount Everest to climb. And until they find that Mount Everest, they're like, let me just lie.
That easy.
I'm going to chill on the couch and scroll a little bit until Mount Everest comes to me and tell me, can you please climb me?
Yeah.
It does happen.
So now if I bring all of this together, right? If I bring the first part and the second part together, what all of this boils down to, and maybe there's a sequence here that comes to light as I say it. But I think that there's the physical, we talked about exercise, we talked about nutrition, we talked about recovery. In the psychological, we talked about sort of the management of stress. I think that links back to purpose, manifestation, and happiness, right? Yeah. So if I was to create a sequence based on everything we talked about, my sequence would be is to wake up and be thankful.
Absolutely.
The first thing I do. Gratitude. Exactly. Gratitude puts me in a state of thankfulness, which creates a state of happiness.
Yeah.
In that state of happiness, I then manifest my greater plan, whatever my plan is, whether it is for my work, personal, family life, or my community, whatever the plan is, I manifest, I feel, I expect, I project, and then I go out into the day.
Yeah.
Right? I start my day with good exercise. I get my body moving, get the juices.
That's right.
Get the blood flowing.
Yeah.
I then feed it really well with the right nutrient dense breakfast
That's right.
that it deserves, not the sugary bullshit that we're
Absolutely.
fed to believe that we need to eat.
Yeah.
After that, I go out and I do that thing that I was supposed to do. And all I do is take one step forward, and I'm just 1% better than yesterday. That's it.
Right. That's right.
Along the day.
With intention.
With intention. And along the day, as my wiring is changing and different pressures are occurring, I take a 5-minute and I reset my brain.
Absolutely.
Right? Whether I do it through prayer, whether I do it through breathing, whatever I do. And then what I do is I do that a couple of times, the reset, go back. Again, nutrient-dense meals that are not spiking my body's blood sugar.
Absolutely.
Come back at the end of the day with intention. Spend time with my loved ones with intention.
Absolutely.
With an outcome in mind.
With total presence.
With total presence. And then I focus on me.
Yeah.
And then I give myself the recovery time I need.
Absolutely.
Which is 8-9 hours of sleep, whatever that recovery is. And I just do this 365 days for as long as I'm alive.
Absolutely.
And I will be superhuman.
That's right.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's literally that simple.
They should teach this in schools.
Well, the thing is this. Schools are not designed for creating extraordinary human beings. Schools are specifically designed, like 150 years ago, schools were designed to indoctrinate children into obedience. That's it. Not for creativity, not for critical thinking, not for learning. That was not the outcome of the school system. And today, 150 years later, where we're living in the artificial intelligence age, they're still doing 150-year-old indoctrination into obedience.
This was amazing, Asad. Thank you so much for the time. I really enjoyed doing both parts. I think this is the only time I've done a 2-part episode. This is a subject that honestly fascinates me. I've done a lot of reading around this, and it's always refreshing to find someone in the close vicinity of where we live who has a similar thinking. Because I think that this thinking needs to go out. And whether people agree or disagree with it, that's fine.
Sure.
More people disagree with it, hopefully it stokes a fire that makes them think about what they're currently doing, right? But I appreciate you taking the time. You guys have a great new initiative.
Vitalize.
Vitalize. Tell me about that. Maybe give me a quick plug for a minute.
Sure. Basically, over the last 30 years, when I transformed myself from a sick, dying child to becoming a competitive kickboxing athlete, I went through a journey of having to discover what are the real metrics and parameters that allow you to really be healthy at a performance level. Okay. So when I cracked the code on energy, vitality, and health, I started to help a lot of people around me. Okay. Family, friends, people who used to be referred to me, and so on and so forth. And over the last 30 years, this has taken many shapes and forms. I've been an athlete myself, and being an athlete, I helped other athletes up their game. Then I helped a lot of friends and family, and some of those people were terminally ill, helped them overcome terminal illness to where they were living and still are today, living healthy lives. Okay. When the doctor told them, just go home and wind up your affairs, you're going to die. Okay. Then I ran a clinic at Hilal-e-Ahmar at Teen Talwar for 2 years for terminally ill patients, and helping them, giving them the possibility that they don't have to accept this death sentence. Okay. And I actually had successes. Then I worked with the Pakistan cricket team, so on and so forth. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is over the last 30 years, what I realized is people have a lot of expectations for their life, but they don't give their body the right fuel. And health is something that most people will not put in the resources and the time and the energy for. They'll make a lot of effort to make money, but not for their body. So what we did is basically we created Vitalize in a way which is totally natural, and all of these resources were created in sports medicine. Okay? So we've got this thing called NAD+. It's an infusion. NAD is a totally natural substance. It's already there in every cell of your body, but over a period of lifetime and life events and disease and medication and stress, वगैरह, it depletes energy. When you infuse energy regenerates and repairs every single cell in your body and every single strand of DNA. So quite objectively, it is reversing the aging process. And the more you fill your body up with NAD over time and maintain it at a high level, you actually start to age in reverse. Your organ function improves. Your skin health improves. Your fine lines and wrinkles start to disappear. You have more physical energy. Your mental clarity and sharpness and focus goes up. Your emotional state rises. You become more buoyant. You start to feel lighter about life, okay? And that's why NAD is being used as a very powerful therapy to help people get rid of depression and anxiety and stress damage, okay? Athletes use it to up their game in performance. People just, going about their business use it to make sure they've got a lot of energy and vitality, and if they need that extra boost of creativity, they come in and get shots of NAD. So on and so forth. NAD is known as a miracle molecule for this reason. But it has been relegated to the top 1%. Sports, professional athletes, NASA used it, special forces used it, very expensive spas and medical clinics. So we brought this to Pakistan, and what we've done is created an extraordinary sequence. We've paired that up with lymphatic drainage. So 20 minutes of lymphatic drainage helps to get rid of toxicity from your body, improves circulation, drops inflammation markers, improves oxygenation in your cells. So when you take an NAD goes in deeper.
What is lymphatic drainage?
It's sort of like a spacesuit that you wear, totally non-invasive, and it's got pneumatic pressure which uniformly compresses and decompresses your muscles all over your body.
It's like a massage.
Sort of like a massage, but a very uniform massage all over your body, all at the same time.
And then you inject the NAD+.
Well, we do the NAD before that.
Okay.
So the NAD is then absorbed deeper, and you release toxins from your body.
And how do I feel after this?
You'll feel refreshed. Your energy levels go up. Okay? Now, the magic of NAD is most people report feeling better within 24 hours. That's why it's known as a miracle molecule. This
and
doesn't take...
How often do I need to do this on a weekly?
Depends on your lifestyle, depends on your outcomes, depends on your history, so on and so forth.
And what does it cost?
Costs quite a bit, okay? But the reason it costs quite a bit is because when you take NAD, so for example, one 500 milligram IV is for 100,000, okay?
It's for how much?
100,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's nothing else that can compare to NAD.
And how often do I need that 100,000 shot?
Depends on your outcome. Depends also on what your health level is at this point in time. But so if we were talking about you specifically, you're fairly health conscious, you work out, you're in pretty good state. To get you to a really good level where you can maintain it would take probably about 4 to 6 IVs over a period of 6 weeks. Okay? And then what we do is do a lifestyle analysis and a lifestyle modification plan for you to help you maintain it at that level. And anytime you felt like you've had a bit of a dip, you want to come in, you just get another shot. But when you're spending 400 to 600,000 rupees, this is doing something that no medicine can. Almost nothing else can. This is literally reversing your biological age. So if you are 45, you can actually objectively get to 35 or 30 or even 25 or even lower. Okay, there are people who are doing it these days. So you can actually do that. Then we also pair that up with photobiomodulation, which is a totally non-invasive therapy. It's basically, these are custom-made panels for Vitalize. They have 5 specific wavelengths of light. The light penetrates your body, improves organ function, repairs damaged tissue nerves, so really good for neurodegenerative diseases, improves mental cognitive function, lowers inflammation markers, and increases mitochondrial energy production in your cells. And get this, by up to 16 times. That's extraordinary. Nothing else can do that. So we've sequenced these things together to give you an extraordinary boost, literally within days. Okay.
Now, if I pair that with the topic and the lifestyle we covered,
Yeah.
you're basically superhuman by the end of the year.
Yes, you can. And the thing is, one of the reasons I started this was for a very selfish reason, was because I decided, look, I'm in my 50s right now. I haven't gotten married. I've promised my family that I'm going to get married this year for sure, okay? So I want to be playing with my kids, and I want to enjoy life till my very last breath. And I know how to do that. I'm doing that already. Biologically, my age is a lot lower than chronologically, okay? The level of intensity that I lift with, that I play with, that I work with, it's just testament to that. But, so what we've done is to describe the entire chain. We've created proprietary precursors. So when you take these precursors, your NAD is absorbed a lot deeper. Then you go into lymphatic drainage, then you go into photobiomodulation, then you do your lifestyle modification and analysis. So you've got an entire chain, a sequence of treatment protocol where you can get extraordinary results literally within days.
So I'm like
weeks.
Superman and Batman at the end of a year.
If you so choose to be, if you have the discipline, absolutely. This is the closest thing to a guarantee that you can get. That
That's-
if you have the discipline and you are willing to do the work,
All right, I'll come
I can
try.
get you there.
I'll come try. I'm doing a little bit of this stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm going to come try that for
Definitely.
sure. I think it
Look
sounds
forward
like
to having you.
awesome. Thank you again, Asad. I appreciate that. And I
lovely
look
being
forward
here.
to staying in touch. And thank you all
Absolutely.
for tuning into Digitales. Like, comment, subscribe. Please let me know who you'd like to see next. We love taking your feedback and incorporate that into the content. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.